What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so the Tom Hardy Marvel comic book movie Venom: The Last Dance, the third and presumably last installment of the Venom movie franchise, isn't opening with as big of numbers as had been projected for this movie. Released by Sony Pictures Entertainment's Columbia Pictures, Venom, of course, as I said, is the third and presumably final movie in the series following 2018's Venom and 2021's Venom: Let There Be Carnage. The latest installment is co-written by Hardy and Kelly Marcel and directed by Marcel. Sony projects that Venom: The Last Dance will earn about $51 million in North America in 4,131 venues. The $51 million domestic gross is a good chunk less than the projected $65 million that was initially projected for the film. According to the numbers, Venom: The Last Dance had a production budget of $110 million before prints and advertising. By contrast, the first Venom had an $80 million Friday through Sunday domestic opening frame, and Let There Be Carnage earned $90 million against a $110 million budget before print and advertising spend. So this movie has underperformed domestically, although it has overperformed internationally. The movie has made $124 million internationally, which boosts the film's worldwide tally to about $175 million. So it is doing well overseas. And me personally, I like the first one a lot. The first Venom, I like it a lot. I like the fact that they chose to. It makes sense for a movie where Venom is the lead. In other movies, in other iterations, Venom is portrayed as a villain, evil, or at least in our interpretation of it being evil. But it makes sense to portray Venom as more of an anti-hero in a movie where, for the most part, he's portrayed as a protagonist. And Eddie Brock is not evil, or at least in this movie, he's not a tragic figure who was once maybe flawed, but not necessarily evil, but his more evil impulses were manipulated by the Venom symbiote as it bonded with him and other iterations, comic books, cartoons, and other movie adaptations. But I think one of the main reasons why movies aren't doing as well in the box office is, you could argue some of it has to do with the fact that the box office, the movie industry in itself, really still haven't recovered from the pandemic. And I think another thing too, people have a lot more. Look, my generation is probably the last one to really embrace and enjoy the movie-going experience. But as a lot of people have become more and more antisocial, and people have other alternatives and other ways to look at movies, wink, wink, I think that's eating into some of the box office of some of these movies. Now some of the movies that bring nostalgia, like the Beetlejuice sequel that was heavily anticipated. That movie did very well. Or some movies that have gotten a really good word of mouth, or movies, franchises that have a good track record, like the Deadpool movies, they did very well. A lot of movies have underperformed. Hollywood is, some of these directors, man, I think they're out of touch with what many of the more younger and the current moviegoers want to see. Who thought it'd be a good idea to make a Joker movie into a love story / musical? I don't think I even want to watch that movie. Even if it was, even if I have an availability to see it for free, I don't know if I want to watch that movie. By the way, not to get off subject here, but Terrifier 3 came out recently, and matter of fact, I want to see how well that movie is done. Pull that up. All right, Terrifier 3 against a budget of $2 million has made $55 million at the box office, which has made this movie extremely profitable. And against a $2 million budget, that's phenomenal. That's very, very good. This was a big Hollywood production. It'd be a huge bomb, but with a $2 million budget, essentially a B movie, that's pretty good. Look, I tried to watch the first Terrifier. I think it was Friday. I tried to watch it, right? And I couldn't get through the first 15 minutes. It is extremely gruesome, the violence. It's one of the most violent movies I've ever seen. It kind of reminds you a little bit of a more serious version of like those trauma movies back in the 80s, which you didn't really take seriously. Like a lot of the violence was cartoony. Like it was like, for instance, let's say if somebody got flattened with let's say somebody got flattened with a, I don't know, I think it was one sequence where somebody's hand or something got flattened by a waffle iron. I think Toxie did it or whatever. And then when he pulled his hand out, it was literally flattened like he was a human cartoon, right? Now, if it wasn't played for laughs as much as violence, it would be gory. But imagine that being played like a horror movie. Some of the violence in Terrifier is just stomach churning. The close-ups is just stomach churning to say the least, man. But anyway, anybody who's seen Venom, tell me how you like it with this new Venom. How do you like the Venom franchise as a whole? And tell me what you guys think.